So we'll be developing an urban hen program that will ensure proper housing and care conditions, and that we can deal with any issues that may arise. The program will be aligned with national care standards and structured similar to other programs that we know that are successful. We will also be introducing a licensing program for beekeeping. Beekeeping is currently allowed in Calgary, but because it's a growing hobby, we want to ensure that it continues to be successful. There will also be expanded authority for the chief bylaw officer to declare an animal vicious in cases where there's been severe injuries to a person, severe injury or death to another animal, or other significant safety risks. This change allows the chief bylaw officer to make a call quickly and send the animal home with safety measures in place, rather than waiting in our animal services center while we're waiting for a court date. We are also approved for an expanded nuisance designation, and this is in cases where there's been repeated issues, nuisance issues, whether it be noise or aggressive behavior that we haven't been able to address through earlier enforcement and education measures. The next is we're introducing pet ownership limitations. So there will be a limit of 6 cats and 6 dogs per household. That will be anybody who has more than 6 cats or 6 dogs that are licensed when the bylaw comes into effect on January 1st will be able to keep all those animals for the lifetime of those animals. And we'll also be providing excess animal permits for cases where there are breeders, fosters, or people that have a reasonable need to have more animals than the limit in their home.
Obviously, we're happy to see this bylaw get passed last night because in addition to being more aligned with citizen expectations, we believe that this will increase public safety, improve quality of life, and work to protect animals. But it'll also allow us to deal with situations faster and allows us to take a broader view of contextual factors before determining what the right course of action is. As an example, it was mentioned we've made some changes to vicious and nuisance dog designations, and we've taken that out of the court system. And this will allow us to expedite this process. It'll allow us to consider a variety of factors and, where warranted, place conditions on a dog or on a dog owner that makes sense based on the situation we're dealing with. Now, if someone disagrees with that decision, they have the right to appeal and a right to a new hearing to the License and Community Standards Appeal Board, where yesterday Council approved the addition of an expert in animal health and an expert in animal behavior to adjudicate these matters. And the board has the ability to uphold, withdraw, or vary any order as they see fit. So I anticipate more favorable outcomes for all parties involved through this process, and that's a good thing. So this is a good example of how we became more efficient, more nimble, and more effective through this review. Now, in terms of how we enforce the bylaw, there are no changes. We have a philosophy of compliance before enforcement. We have a number of standard operating procedures that we use in cases of low complexity to bring consistency to our approach. But we also give our staff a lot of autonomy and discretion. And in those cases, we have principles around compassion, effectiveness, stewardship, and alignment with our corporate values to guide our decision making. This allows us to have a fair and measured approach. It allows us to be consistent where we can be, but it also allows us to be nimble and to be able to change our approach on the fly if a situation warrants it. At the end of the day, we're really in the problem-solving business, and we feel that this new bylaw will help us be much better at solving people's problems.